Hello everyone, and welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, your sanctuary for profound insights designed to enrich the lives of those navigating the complexities of midlife and beyond. Are you over 40 and feeling like life's whirlwind is spinning faster than ever? Imagine this: you are constantly rushing, jumping from one task to another without a moment to breathe. The alarm blares, you wake up, reflexively check your phone, and the same routine as yesterday begins. Work stress, endless responsibilities, it all piles up, creating a mounting sense of pressure. You feel like you're running on a never-ending treadmill, but deep inside, a nagging feeling persists: something is missing. Have you ever stopped to truly consider why, despite having many of the things you thought you needed, genuine peace still feels so elusive? Why do seemingly small things trigger disproportionate anger? Why do worries about the future and regrets from the past keep haunting your thoughts, stealing your joy? Before we dive deeper into exploring these fundamental questions, if you're new to the channel, we invite you to take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you will ensure that you are alerted to similar videos that we produce in the future. Also, share this video with others who are in need of this wisdom. Also, what are your thoughts? Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments below, we'd love to hear from you. Is there a way to find genuine happiness that goes beyond the fleeting pleasures and temporary distractions we often chase? Consider this simple analogy: imagine you have a beautiful glass of water, but it's filled with dirt. No matter how much clean water you pour into it, the dirt remains, clouding the purity and preventing you from fully enjoying it. Our mind is much like that glass. We keep adding new experiences, accumulating desires, and striving for achievements, but if we don't clear the dirt, our fears, attachments, and past sufferings, we can never truly taste pure peace. Welcome to Wisdom and Wealth. This channel is dedicated to bringing you deep yet easily understandable wisdom that has the potential to genuinely transform your life for the better. If you are searching for answers to life's big questions, seeking greater clarity in your purpose, or simply looking for a new and more fulfilling way of living, then you are absolutely in the right place. We are so glad that you have found us. Now, before we begin this journey together, we have a small request. We've noticed that while our channel receives a steady stream of views, only a fraction of viewers are actually subscribed. If you find this content meaningful and valuable, please take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to share your thoughts and insights in the comments section below. We'd love to hear from you and engage in meaningful discussions. Buddhism is not merely a religion, it is a path, a practical way of understanding life that has helped millions of people find lasting peace and purpose. It doesn't ask you to blindly believe in anything dogmatically. Instead, it encourages you to see for yourself, to experience and understand the nature of reality through your own direct perception. More than 2,500 years ago, a man named Siddhartha Gautama, who later became known as the Buddha, embarked on a profound journey to discover the ultimate truth. He was born into wealth and privilege, yet he willingly left it all behind in search of something far greater and more meaningful. His discoveries transformed not only his own life but also the lives of countless millions who followed after him. If you're enjoying our channel, like, comment, share, and subscribe, it would mean the world to us. And we are sure you will get value from our videos. The core of Buddhism is surprisingly simple: suffering exists, but there is a way to end it. This path is not about running away from life's challenges or retreating into isolation, but about learning to see life with new, clearer eyes. It teaches us that our struggles are not primarily caused by the external world around us but rather by the way we perceive and react to it. Think about your daily life. How often do you get upset or frustrated because things don't go exactly as planned? How much of your stress comes from trying to control situations and people that are, in reality, beyond your control? Buddhism offers a fundamentally different approach. It teaches us how to let go of the need to control, how to live fully and mindfully in the present moment, and how to find inner peace even amidst chaos and uncertainty. One of the most powerful and transformative teachings of Buddhism is mindfulness, the ability to be fully present and engaged in each and every moment of our experience. So often, we are trapped in thoughts about the past, replaying old memories, or consumed by anxieties about the future, planning and anticipating what might happen. But true peace, joy, and fulfillment are only ever found in the present moment. Another key lesson within the Buddhist tradition is the concept of impermanence. Everything in life is constantly changing, our emotions, our thoughts, even our own bodies. Understanding this fundamental truth can free us from unnecessary suffering as we learn to embrace change rather than resisting or fearing it. Buddhism also deeply emphasizes the importance of cultivating compassion, not just for others but also for ourselves. So many of us are our own worst critics, constantly carrying around burdens of guilt, shame, and self-doubt. But what if we treated ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and patience that we would naturally extend to a close friend? Throughout this video series, we will delve into the profound and powerful insights of Buddhist wisdom, exploring how they can transform your perspective on life and empower you to live with greater peace, purpose, and joy. Whether you are struggling with stress and anxiety, searching for deeper meaning and direction, or simply curious about the core tenets of Buddhism, this journey will undoubtedly offer you something valuable. In the next part of this series, we will dive into the captivating story of the Buddha himself, exploring how an ordinary man, born into privilege, transformed himself into the Enlightened One, and how his remarkable journey can inspire and illuminate our own paths. The life of Buddha, the man who awakened. Let me tell you a story of a man who was born into luxury and immense privilege, but ultimately gave it all up to find something far greater and more enduring. This is a story that has resonated with and inspired millions of people for over 2,500 years. This is the story of Siddhartha Gautama, the one who eventually became known as the Buddha. A long time ago, in a small kingdom called Kapilavastu, a child was born into the royal family. His name was Siddhartha. From the moment he entered the world, wise men predicted that he was destined for greatness. Some foretold that he would become a mighty king, ruling over vast lands and commanding great armies. Others, however, said that he would renounce all worldly possessions and become a great spiritual teacher, guiding humanity towards enlightenment. His father, the king, deeply feared the second prediction. He was determined that his son would follow in his footsteps and become a powerful ruler, not a wandering monk. Therefore, he made a crucial decision. Siddhartha would never be exposed to any form of suffering. The young prince grew up surrounded by beauty, comfort, and abundance. He had everything a person could possibly wish for: wealth, music, delicious food, and the finest education. If he ever desired anything, it was immediately provided to him. The king built high, imposing walls around the palace, ensuring that Siddhartha would never witness pain, sickness, or death. The harsh realities of the world outside were carefully hidden from him. As the years passed, Siddhartha lived a life of seemingly unending pleasure and luxury. He married a beautiful princess named Yashodhara, and they had a son together. But despite all the outward appearances of happiness and fulfillment, something inside him remained restless and unfulfilled. No matter how much luxury he possessed, something felt incomplete, as if he were living in a beautiful dream, but not the true reality. We really appreciate you watching our channel. We know you'll love our content if you like, comment, share, and subscribe. One day, driven by a deep and unquenchable curiosity, Siddhartha decided to take matters into his own hands. He convinced his charioteer, Channa, to take him outside the palace walls for a glimpse of the world beyond. What he saw during that fateful excursion would forever change his life. First, he saw an old man, his back bent with age, his face etched with wrinkles, and his hands trembling with frailty. Siddhartha had never witnessed old age before. He turned to his charioteer and asked, "What is this?" The charioteer replied, "This, my prince, is old age. Every living being must eventually grow old." Siddhartha was deeply shaken. He had never before considered the inevitability of aging. If this was the ultimate fate of all beings, then what was the true meaning of youth and beauty? On another trip outside the palace, he encountered a sick man, lying on the ground and groaning in pain. His body was weak and feverish, and his face was pale with suffering. Siddhartha asked, "What has happened to him?" "This is sickness, my prince," the charioteer said. "Everyone falls sick at some point in their lives." Siddhartha felt a deep sorrow in his heart. How fragile life was, how quickly health could disappear. On his next journey, he witnessed a funeral procession. The grieving family carried the lifeless body of a man, their faces etched with sorrow and despair. For the first time, Siddhartha came face to face with death. He turned to his charioteer and asked, "Will this happen to me as well?" "Yes, my prince," the charioteer said, "death comes for all." Siddhartha's heart grew heavy. Everything he had known, youth, health, life itself, was temporary and ultimately impermanent. Nothing lasted forever. But then, on another journey, he saw something different, something that sparked a glimmer of hope in his heart. He saw a monk walking barefoot, dressed in simple robes. The monk had nothing, yet his face radiated calmness, and his eyes were filled with an extraordinary peace. Siddhartha had never seen such tranquility before. He asked, "Who is this man?" The charioteer replied, "He is a monk, my prince. He has left behind all worldly possessions in search of truth." That night, Siddhartha could not sleep. The images of the old man, the sick man, and the dead man haunted his thoughts. He thought of his son, his wife, his father. He loved them deeply, but he knew that love could not stop time. Everything and everyone he loved would one day change, grow old, or fade away. There had to be a way to go beyond suffering. There had to be a truth greater than this fleeting world. So, one night, as the palace slept peacefully around him, Siddhartha made a decision that would change the course of history. He kissed his sleeping wife and son goodbye, took one last look at the palace, at the life of comfort and luxury he had always known, and then he left. He left behind his title, his wealth, his family, and his kingdom. He became a seeker, a wanderer, a man in search of truth. Siddhartha wandered through forests, met wise teachers, and practiced severe austerities. He starved himself, meditated for days without food, and pushed his body to its limits, all in the hope of finding the answer he sought. But still, he did not find the truth. One day, he was so weak from fasting that he collapsed near a river. A young girl saw him and offered him a bowl of rice. As he ate, a profound realization dawned upon him: starving the body was not the way. He had lived in extreme luxury, and he had lived in extreme hardship, but neither had led him to the truth. There had to be a middle way. This channel can only stay alive with your help. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. With renewed determination, he made his way to a quiet place near the town of Bodh Gaya. There, under a great Bodhi tree, he sat down. He made a vow that he would not rise until he had found the truth. For days and nights, he meditated, his mind assailed by doubts, fears, and desires. Visions of pleasure and nightmares of terror tried to shake him, but he remained still, unshaken, and unmoved. Then, in the stillness of the night, as the morning star rose in the sky, something extraordinary happened. Siddhartha saw clearly. He understood the nature of suffering, the cause of suffering, and the path to liberation. At that moment, he awakened. He was no longer Siddhartha, the prince, he was now the Buddha, the awakened one. The Buddha did not keep his realization to himself. He spent the next 45 years teaching others what he had discovered. He did not claim to be a god or a prophet. He was simply a man who had seen the truth, and he shared it with all who wished to learn. His first teaching was to 5 former companions who had once practiced extreme austerities with him. At first, they did not recognize him, but when they saw his peaceful presence, they knew he had found something profound. He taught them about the 4 noble truths, the essence of his wisdom. Word spread, and people from all walks of life came to listen. Kings and beggars, scholars and farmers, men and women, all were welcome. The Buddha's teachings were not for the privileged few, they were for all. He walked from village to village, sharing the path of wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness. He spoke of a way to end suffering, a way to find lasting peace. His message was simple: suffering exists, but there is a path beyond it. The Buddha did not ask people to follow him blindly. He told them to test his words, to see for themselves if they were true. Do not believe something just because I say it, he would say, experience it, understand it. For decades, the Buddha continued to teach, until, at the age of 80, he laid down for the last time. His final words were, all things are impermanent. Work out your own salvation with diligence. And so, the man who had been born a prince, who had walked away from luxury, who had sat under a tree and awakened, left this world. But his teachings lived on. The story of the Buddha is not just a story of the past, it is a story for us here and now. It is a reminder that no matter who we are, no matter where we come from, we can awaken, we can find peace, we can be free. In the next part of this series, we will explore the wisdom the Buddha shared, the Four Noble Truths, the key to understanding suffering and the way beyond it. This is our mission, and we know it can impact your life if you subscribe. The Four Noble Truths, Understanding Suffering and Liberation. Sit down for a moment, take a deep breath, feel the air moving in and out of your body. Now, ask yourself, why do we suffer? Why do we feel pain, stress, or sadness? No matter who we are, no matter where we come from, suffering touches every life. But why? And, more importantly, can we be free from it? Over 2,500 years ago, the Buddha asked these same questions. He was born into luxury, surrounded by comfort, yet he saw suffering everywhere. He saw sickness, old age, and death. He saw the worries of the rich and the struggles of the poor. He saw that no matter how much people tried to escape suffering, it always found them again. So, he went on a journey. He searched for answers in forests, in temples, in deep meditation. And after years of seeking, he found the truth, the Four Noble Truths. These truths are not just abstract ideas, they are a mirror reflecting reality. They show us why we suffer and how we can break free. The first truth is simple: suffering exists. It is everywhere. From the smallest discomfort to the deepest heartbreak, suffering is a part of life. We suffer when we don't get what we want. We suffer when we lose something we love. We suffer when life does not go our way. Some people try to ignore this truth, pretending everything is fine. Others drown in their suffering, believing there is no escape. But the Buddha tells us to see it clearly, to acknowledge it. Only when we accept suffering can we begin to understand it. The second truth is the cause of suffering. Why do we feel pain? Why do we struggle? The Buddha discovered that suffering is not caused by the world outside. It is not because of other people, not because of bad luck, not even because of fate. It is because of our own craving. We want things to be a certain way. We cling to pleasures, to people, to ideas. We resist change. And when things don't go as we wish, we suffer. Think about this. Imagine you are holding a rope. You pull it tight, gripping it with all your strength. The tighter you hold, the more it burns your skin. The more you fight against it, the more pain you feel. But what happens when you let go? The pain disappears. The Buddha showed us that suffering is the same. We hold on so tightly to our desires, our fears, our expectations that we create our own pain. The third truth is hope. If suffering has a cause, then it also has an end. Just as a fire dies when there is no more fuel, suffering disappears when we stop feeding it. This is not an empty promise. It is not about running away from life or pretending suffering does not exist. It is about changing our relationship with life. It is about seeing things as they really are. Imagine walking through a forest on a hot day. You are thirsty, tired, searching for water. You come across a river, but it is muddy. You cannot drink it. You are frustrated, even angry. But then, you sit down, you wait. Slowly, the dirt settles, the water becomes clear. And suddenly, the solution was always there, you just needed patience. The same is true for our suffering. When we stop reacting, when we stop grasping, peace begins to appear. The fourth truth is the path to freedom. The Buddha did not just tell us what suffering is, he showed us how to move beyond it. He gave us a map, a path, a way forward. This path is not about blind belief, it is about practice, about walking step by step, changing the way we think, the way we act, the way we see the world. It is called the Eightfold Path, and it is a guide to living a life free from suffering. But before we walk that path, we must truly see. See how suffering controls us. See how we chase after happiness only to find disappointment. See how we fear loss only to lose everything in the end. The Buddha was not asking us to reject life, he was asking us to live it fully, without the chains of craving, without the fear of change. Think of a candle. When it burns, the flame flickers, dances, struggles against the wind. But if the wind is still, the flame becomes steady. Our minds are the same. If we are constantly chasing, running, worrying, we can never find peace. But when we understand suffering, when we let go of what binds us, our minds become calm, clear, and free. This is not an easy path, it takes practice, patience, and courage. But it is possible. The Buddha was just a man, like us. He was not a god, not a mythical figure. He was someone who suffered, searched, and found the way out. And if he could do it, so can we. Now that you have a better understanding of things, you need to subscribe, share, comment and like.